Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Power Community Podcast. This is a very special episode, part of our Get Started series. So, I have a question for you guys before we get into this, especially all of you who are starting out in your practice, brand new coaches. How many of you could really stand to never have to think about marketing at all? How many of you wish that that was something you just definitely did not have to deal with from now until the end of time? I want to talk today about another way of building your practice. This is not something that we talk about very often inside of our show. So today I have invited Jodi Franklin, who is an esteemed coach from the School of Applied Functional Medicine, as part of this Get Started series. So again, if you're starting out or if you're a coach who is starting over, here's another perspective, a different perspective on how to be successful in your career. And we have a special gift for you at the end. So make sure that you stick with us and we'll give you a link for that at the end of the show. So anyway, Jodi, hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me on. It's really great to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that we could do this together. Even if my video is not working for some strange reason, it is okay. I hear your name all over the health coach industry. And so I'm glad to have a chance to finally talk with you directly. I went to IIN back in the dark ages, and you were saying just before we got on the line that you also started out at IIN. So could you just tell us how you got started as a health coach?
I did, in fact, go to IIN and I graduated in September of 2015. But prior to that, I had an autoimmune disease that I struggled with when I turned 25. I had chronic urticaria, which is hives, and I had them all over my body. I was a mess with them for about 20 years. I literally could not sleep most nights because I was scratching myself till I bled. And some days I couldn't even walk because my feet were so swollen from the hives. And it was really, really awful. And as I started getting a little older, I realized, oh, I was putting on a few vanity pounds. I needed to clean up my diet a little. And I noticed that my hives were better. They were less frequent and not bothering me as much. And this kind of led me on that kind of rabbit hole of how do I do this? How do I put this into remission? And eventually I became almost symptom free. And when I turned 50, I said, okay, what do I really want to do with my life? And I've just been obsessed with learning about health and fitness since then, and really helping friends of mine with their questions and things like that. And I realized this is really what I wanted to do. So I went ahead and went to IIN and I learned all about health coaching. And here I am today. And I went on with my education, which I can talk about later. But it's been a really good move for me professionally. So it's been wonderful.
I'm liking to hear that part of your story where you said, I turned 50 and then I said, what do I want to do with my life? Because we have a lot
Midlife
of health
crisis.
coaches. Yeah, people who start later and it can work, right? You're not too late to the game.
No, in fact, it's funny. Some of my friends, I'll be 57 this year, and some of my friends are retiring, and I'm thinking I'm just getting going. I love it. So
That's
it took me 50
awesome.
years to figure it out, but I'm right where I'm meant to be. So it's good to be here.
So when you first graduated from IIN, how did you find that? Were you getting clients and easily starting up your practice, or was it a real struggle?
Yeah, great question. So in the beginning, I think I was really struggling. I was scrambling to get clients. I was kind of being scrappy with it and putting things on my Facebook and emailing people and even going up to people. I remember there was a farmer's market and I thought I might specialize in skin issues too because I had my own skin issue. And there was a guy with this really terrible skin issue. And I said, should I say something to him? Should I go up to him? And we had a little bit of rapport. He was selling me something, and I said to him, "Do you mind if I ask you a question?" I'm not sure if he's going to punch me or embrace this, but I just asked him, "Do you mind if I ask what's going on with your skin? Did you have a diagnosis on that?" And long story short, he did wind up working with me, but it was, it was like a little bit. I don't want to approach people like that. It could have gone the other way. So I was struggling with that, and I was struggling to keep people. They would I might do a free health history session like they recommended at IIN. That's what I would do. And then maybe they wouldn't sign on for any program with me after, or they might not show up for a visit. So it was really, I was struggling quite a bit. I did a barter and I remember the woman wasn't following what I was saying. And it was just really frustrating for me in the beginning, for sure.
I bet. And barters, guys, Don't do the barters. I'm just going to put it out there. Those never end well. Thank you for sharing that. So I know we have some members of our community here live with us. If you guys have any questions for Jodi as we go along, go ahead and put those in the comments because we are looking for those. But what you described, Jodi, is very typical. I mean, aside from the part where you actually approach the man about his skin, I don't know how many people would have the chutzpah to do that. It's like, that took some serious nerve, and I'm proud of you. But that can't be the way that we find clients. We can't just walk around looking for people who seem a little unhealthy and then directly asking them about it. That's hilarious.
Right. Yeah, no, it was pretty desperate of me, actually. In hindsight, I wouldn't probably do that these days. But I really wanted to work with people. I knew I could help people to a certain extent. So
Well, you do not lack enthusiasm, and I think that's true for most new health coaches. So, what changed? I know you have a thriving practice these days. What made the biggest difference? Did you just learn how to find people at farmers markets better?
well, I could have used a program like yours, Michelle, honestly. If I had known more about it, I probably would have done it. I needed more help in the beginning to get the clients. But once I got them, I was able to keep them and keep a huge referral basis. And that's what really boosted my practice. So I actually have all my clients via referrals now from other clients or from even just success stories that I post from clients who are happy to give them to me. So that's been really a huge key to the success of my practice is just being out there and showing people what's possible. When I have a success story, I'm always touting it on my social media, on my email list, on my website. And you guys are welcome to check out any of those also. My website, you can just Google my name, Jodi, Jodi Franklin, and you'll see me come up. I have a lot of traffic to my website because of what I've done. And I think the big difference for me really in getting those referral after referral from happy clients is the functional medicine training that I received, which I can tell you a little bit more about if you'd like. But the clinical knowledge made a big difference. And I'm not talking about a functional medicine health coaching school. Those are great. And I wouldn't mind going to a school like that as well. But what really changed things for me was a rich clinical knowledge like the doctors and nurse practitioners and PAs out there are getting. And I went to the School of Applied Functional Medicine. I think Michelle's going to put that in the program notes, the link to it, if you guys want to check it out. But that gave me so much confidence in helping people get breakthrough results that I can post about and brag about. And these people are walking billboards for me. When they get results like they've overcome their autoimmune disease or they no longer diabetic after 3 months working with me, or no longer depressed or anxious and their attitude is completely changed, their anxiety's gone without any medication, or their acid reflux is gone, or migraines completely gone, or gastrointestinal issues. Gosh, I work with a lot of things, skin issues, obviously, completely gone. They tell everybody about me. They walk around grocery stores and stand in line. You can't do that these days with COVID as much, but they'll talk about me in line at the grocery store. And I'll have people that come to me all over the world to work with me because of my success stories. So this is a way to build your business. And I honestly cannot believe what I've been able to do with it. I remember I had a client who had psoriatic arthritis recently. This is like maybe a year ago. He came to me, and his it's a picture of it on my website. The before picture, you can't even recognize that it's a thumb. I mean, it looks like from something from another planet. And his hands were so cracked he couldn't even tie his shoes or work, and he couldn't sleep at night. And he was on prednisone. And the next, I worked with him for about 5 months and we completely reversed it. All his pain is gone. His psoriasis is gone. He feels wonderful. He lost 30 pounds. His mood's improved. His gastrointestinal issues are gone. And he is like a very reluctant soul in the beginning, but he's telling everybody about me now. And I now have the whole bunch of clients from his state. Did I say, I hope I didn't say a state, but he's in Idaho. I might have said it wrong. I didn't know anyone from Idaho. I'm from the East Coast. And now I have a whole handful of clients from Idaho because of the referrals from this one
Oh,
guy.
wow. Okay,
Yeah,
I have questions.
sure. Go.
Okay, so I know I've had referrals in my practice as well. They are the best because by the time you talk to that person who's been referred to you, you don't have to sell them on anything. They're already sold. They basically just walk up to you with a check in their hand and it's a done deal. So I can attest to the fact that this is an amazing way to get clients for so many reasons. When you say that you are, able to get a lot of referrals, I'm wondering if you're employing any of the tactics that I see health coaches try, which is like offering an incentive to your client. Hey, refer a friend, and I'm going to give you this bonus, or you get extra coaching, or, are you offering any kind of incentives to make this happen?
I'm not at all, actually, and I could. I used to in the beginning. I think I would give someone a gift certificate or whatever, and I still would do something like that. I actually have a line of skincare stuff that I'll let them choose a product from if they refer someone. But honestly, I have a wait list to work with me now. I don't need to be giving out prizes or asking people to send me referrals. This is all just really, really, really satisfied clients that have had breakthrough results, were suffering with some kind of major health issue that bothered them for years. It could be hormone issues. We just had a 46-year-old give birth to her first child she was supposedly infertile. I mean, stuff like this is happening every day in my practice. And it's just that people are just so thrilled that you've given them results that they can't help but reciprocate and tell others about you. And even I remember I was in the another grocery store. I guess I spent a lot of time in grocery stores.
Hey, me
But
too.
anyway, Whole Foods, yes. But anyway, this woman came up to me and started crying and said, "Please give me a stack of your business cards." And she said, "You helped my daughter overcome her anxiety. She couldn't even function in life with her anxiety. And now she tells me, Mom, this is always the way I've always wanted to feel. I've never felt this way before." And so, she's handing out my cards to everyone in town. It's crazy. And so I don't even know. I'm like, I look at my inbox and I'll have referrals after referral every day of all these people that want to work with me. So what I had to do is actually hire other coaches. I actually hired some medical professionals who are also coaches to help me. So I do the initial consultation now, and then I'll hand them off to one of my people so I can help more people that way. I'm running group programs. I'm running a reversing diabetes program and 120 days program. I just launched that. And I did a vanishing vitiligo program because I want to take people in groups now because I can't work with all the people who want to
Yes.
work with me individually. So
Yes,
it's
you
a
need
good
to
problem to have.
scale. That's wonderful. Well, thank you for clarifying that, because I didn't want anybody to think that the key to getting referrals was in some sort
As
of
begging.
referral program, right? And I tend to think that you could offer the best Amazon gift card in the world and that your clients are not going to make a referral just for that. They're going to make the referral with or without the incentive because of the results that they get from working with you. Okay, the other question that I had for you, as you were talking, you mentioned the School of Applied Functional Medicine. If you guys are interested, you can go to healthcoachpower.com/SAFM, and I'll put that in the show notes. And you said it's not just functional medicine training for health coaches. I'd like you to expand on that and also say something about how you can perhaps learn more of this deeper knowledge and still stay within scope as a health coach.
Yeah, great question. So, the school actually people think, oh, it's a medical school. I can't do that. And you are in school with doctors and nurse practitioners. And I think the last class, about 73% of the incoming class were medical professionals. So you'll be in good company with those people. But the school, when it started out, used to be called Wildly Successful Health Coaches.
Ah,
Tracy Harrison's the founder of the school. She's actually a health coach herself. She's also a chemist with 3 degrees from MIT, but she went to IIN as well, and she went live and she got to meet Dr. Mark Hyman, and he really inspired her, and she got out of her high tech biotech career to start health coaching because she felt she really resonated with her. But she went on to do a lot of functional medicine training herself and found that there was a real hole in the training, that you didn't really know how to use it in your practice after you got all the training. So that's why she started SAFM. It's the School of Applied Functional Medicine. So she teaches you how to apply it. But just to circle back to your question, you can do this as a health coach. I've been doing it as a health coach. I don't have any medical background. I used to struggle in high school chemistry classes. I think if my high school chemistry teacher could see me now, she wouldn't believe it. Because honestly, it was very hard for me in biology. I mean, terrible, but Tracy teaches it in a way that makes it easy to understand and implement into your practice. But now she does require health coaches to have worked with at least 8 clients in order to attend the school. So I actually wouldn't have qualified because I only had, I think, only 2 or 3 clients when I started my first semester, but via referrals, even in my first semester, as I started using what I was learning, by the end of my first semester, I had 15 clients and I was able to quit my job and start doing health coaching full time, which was great. By the end of my second semester, I had nearly a full practice. And honestly, all referrals. I haven't spent a dime on any marketing. It's all people that are happy to get results from working with me and in spirit of generosity, telling all their friends about me. So, but anyway, in terms of scope, I know that was another issue. You are still a health coach unless you have a medical background. If you're a health coach, you can do this. Now, you can't diagnose and you can't prescribe, obviously, you're not a prescriber, and you can't take people off medications. But that said, I have helped people get off thousands of medications by sending them back to the provider to safely get them off their medications. So when they're ready, you're going to do a deep dive on labs, you're going to do a deep dive on supplements, you're really going to understand thoroughly how to educate your clients. So it's always in the spirit of education, and it is not illegal, even in the red states and the yellow states, it's not illegal to educate your clients on their bodies. So you can do this as a coach, but you just have to do it in a way that fits within health coaching. So I can see somebody and I look at their labs and I know that they're diabetic, but I can't say you have diabetes, or I know they have Hashimoto's and I can't say you have Hashimoto's. What I can say is that maybe it looks like you have some autoimmune activity going on here in your thyroid. And let's talk about what that means. And that you may want to send them to an endocrinologist to get a prescription just to give them some relief while you're working on the root cause resolution to reverse it. But yeah, I mean, you can totally do this as a coach. And some of the most successful people in the school are coaches, nurses, pharmacists, even. They don't have the ability to diagnose or prescribe either. We have a lot of different modalities in the school, people from all over the world. We're in 60 different countries. There's, I think, 20, 25 different modalities. There's dentists in there. There's all kinds of
Oh, dentist, how
practitioners.
funny.
Yeah,
This is
even body
interesting
work.
because when I did, well, yeah, cool.
Yep.
That's really cool. When I did a functional medicine training several years ago, I was also in a group that included doctors and nurses and other practitioners. And I found that alone to be very helpful because I got to know these other practitioners and form relationships and also see like what struggles they're having, and also see that it's not that they are so much smarter and better than I am as a health coach. Like we all had similar questions. We're all having similar struggles. So it was really cool on a number of levels. And I'll share an example from my practice, and then you tell me if this sounds like something that you're doing. So I also work with a lot of women who are experiencing trouble with their thyroid. And one thing that I will do is educate them on what really does a full thyroid panel of lab tests look like. And then, they can compare that, we can compare that to the lab testing that they have had done. And then it's kind of just a no brainer for them to go, I should go ask for these other tests, and then they do. And when the results come back, again, I can educate them on what optimal ranges are for the different tests. And then it doesn't take a genius to compare that against the results and go, maybe I should talk to my doctor about this. Does that sound right?
Yep, maybe you could talk to your doctor about it, or maybe you could talk to me about how we can optimize your T4 to T3 conversion for example, like right now your T4 looks good, but look at your T3. No wonder you're so exhausted. And what nutrient cofactors are needed to convert T4 to T3? So do you want to do that? Here's some information on supplements that can do that, or here's some information on food choices that can do that. So it's like, it's amazing what can be done. I had a woman who didn't want to do any medications, and her free T3 was 2.1. I'm like, how are you even standing? You must be exhausted. And we got it up to 2.9 just with nutrition and supplements and not any medication. She didn't want to do the thyroid medication. So, and she lost a bunch of weight too in the
I
process.
bet.
So it's like wildly satisfying your clients. And they may come to you for one reason. They may come to you because their thyroid's wacky, or they may come to you because of they want to lose a few pounds. And then you discover, well, look, no wonder you can't lose weight. You're totally estrogen dominant, or your thyroid is completely, there's issues here. So let's talk about what we can do about that. So you're helping And I will say, the thing about working with doctors, you'll meet some really great ones in the school, and they're very supportive. It's a really wonderful community. But I now have doctors begging me to join their practice, where I was like struggling to get clients. I had a doctor saying to me, "Please come join my practice 2 days a week. That's all I'm asking." And I'm like, "I already have a full practice," but she wound up referring people to me, and I get that a lot from doctor referrals too. I have a guy that went to his ophthalmologist. He was losing his vision because secondary to his type 2 diabetes complications. He went back to his doctor 6 months later. His vision problems completely reversed. The doctor's jumping up and down the office like, "How did you do this? I've never seen anybody do this before." He says, "All your vision problems are gone." And the guy said, "Well, I'm working with this health coach." And he's like, "Give me her card. I want to contact her." And this guy's referred people to me. It's amazing. I get referrals all the time, and I don't, it's like I'm afraid to send a newsletter out, honestly, because I'm going to get more people that want to work with me, and I got to work them through the system. So it's
That's
hard. It's a
amazing.
good problem to have.
Yeah, that's what we call one of those good problems, Jodi. And we have Cheryl is here live with us, and Cheryl's saying, "Hey, Jodi, I love it. Thank you. SAFM is the bomb.com." And I quote, "Thanks for being here, Cheryl." I know Cheryl recently enrolled and is getting started with the school.
Oh,
So that's
wonderful,
super
Cheryl.
exciting. So now that you have so many clients and you're running groups and referrals are coming in faster than you can handle them, how has this affected your pricing? I imagine you would just kind of keep raising your rates and raising your rates and raising your rates.
Yeah, in fact, I have. And, I can definitely slide my scale for people who need it. I have a pro bono going right now with a guy who actually he's a friend of mine's son, and he's had to drop out of college because of his Crohn's disease, and he was so weak and down to 97 pounds at age 21. And I was able to help him gain the weight back, get his energy back, feel good again, and he's talking about going back to college again. So I feel really good about doing that, but I don't do that for everybody. I don't work free because I wouldn't be able to do this full time. I'd have to go get another job to support my freebies. And so I don't do many freebies. I do reduced rates every once in a while, but the vast majority of people pay full rate. And when I graduated IIN, I used to do the free health history, just like Joshua recommended.
Yep.
And then I would do like a program for 6 months. I charged 125 a month. I know that doesn't sound like much for 6 months. And I would do that program just to get clients and to get some experience doing it. And that was okay. But I couldn't make a living doing it by any means. So I have actually raised my rates very substantially, a little bit at a time, as I was learning the functional medicine, as I was getting more referrals and getting more experience, which they encourage you to do even within a few weeks of it, getting into the semester. You're encouraged to start using it right away in your practice.
Hmm.
So you get experience, and that's how you lock in the learning, is learning on real people and working with them. But anyway, by the time I graduated, I think I was at over 300 um, a month for my services. And now I don't even want to tell you, because a lot of people get a little angry about this. And please understand that I do slide my scales if I need to, but I don't really need to. I have people coming to me and paying these rates, but I charge $700, or actually $797 now for a health history session. And that's a 90-minute session. And by the way, going through and explaining to them what's going on with their bodies, getting their lab work in advance, and doing a health history properly completely changes everything. So every single one of those people continues with me to do a program, a longer term program. And I do 3-month programs now, because sometimes I can reverse things in 3 months, and I don't need them to stay with me 3 months, 6 months. And I'd rather take on the next person who needs me. So I do 3 months, and they can extend as long as they need. And I have people that stay with me for a year and a half. Some people stay with me 6 months. It just depends. But my monthly rate for 2 sessions is now $749. So I can take 1 or 2 clients a day, make a killer income, and spend the rest of the day doing what I want to do, hanging out. Well, not that I don't want to do health coaching, because I actually love it so much. I do this full time, but I can, if you're raising kids, you can spend the rest of the afternoon with your kids. It gives you financial freedom, which is wonderful. And or you can spend the rest of the day learning more, because there's always so much more to learn. So that's been huge for me, and I can't believe what I'm earning now. It's pretty amazing. My husband was very hesitant to have me do the functional medicine training, because he's like, well, you've already paid this much, you've paid so much for IIN, and now you're going to
Yeah.
do this and you haven't made any money yet. And it's like, what makes you think you're going to do this? I said, every business has startup costs. And I need to have clinical knowledge. I need to understand how to help people on a deeper level. And I already have a computer, I already have a phone. I don't have any other startup costs. This is my startup cost. This is my investment in my knowledge to do this. And I have been earning multiple six-figure income for the past 4 years doing this. It's just incredible to me
That's
that I'm
great
able
to
to do it.
hear. I
Yeah,
love hearing about health coaches who are earning good salaries, because here's why: you're going to keep doing the work. If you're not earning enough money, what happens?
you
Health
can't do
coaches
it.
quit, right? And then nobody in the world is served. You're not served. Your clients that you would have had are not served. Nobody's getting healthier. Nobody's getting happier. So I know that money can be a tricky topic for a lot of health coaches to get comfortable with. And I like to think of money as a measure of our impact. And if you are having a big impact, then you're going to see it in your bank account. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. We're here to make an impact. So it's very exciting to hear you talk about this. Now, I know that you have a course, a little course that everybody can take to check out what it's like to be a student at SAFM. Is that right?
Yes, in fact, if you're interested in the school, and even if you're not, I would still take the course because you're going to be able to help clients on a deeper level with this. But there's a course, a 90-minute mini course to see what Tracy's teaching style is like. She is absolutely a dynamo. She teaches things in a way that you can use in your practice right away, and you'll see what functional medicine's all about. But the course is called Conquering Constipation. And I know you guys have had clients, you've had clients who've had this issue. And it really, really helps to understand on a deeper level what to do with this. Now, that course alone is not going to help you with every single client, because there's obviously issues like SIBO that can cause it, and you're going to need a deeper dive and understand stool testing and things like that. And you're going to learn that at SAFM. You learn all the functional tests. And by the way, when you graduate as a health coach, you will have the ability to facilitate getting lab work for your clients. You can order it, and someone will sign off on it through a third party. A doctor will sign off on it. So that's been a game changer for me. I don't have to worry about whether or not someone can get labs. I can make sure my clients get them. So I have the knowledge, so I can make proper recommendations and help them achieve their goals instead of operating blind. So it makes a
That
huge
is
difference.
really interesting. I did not know that. And I just put a link for the constipation course in the comments. We will put it in the show notes. So if you're listening to this via podcast later, go to healthcoachpower.com/podcast, find this episode. It will all be there. Um, Alejandra is saying, would SAFM work for a newly graduated traditional MD? What do you think?
Absolutely. You should have had the experience of working with at least 6 patients or 8 patients, sorry. So you might want to make sure you have an active practice of some sort, but I'm sure with the residency and everything, you probably have had that experience. But definitely, a big percentage of the students are medical professionals. 73% of this last class going in were medical professionals. A lot of MDs in the course. Some of my good friends that I've met through the school are MDs. And I have had MD friends who have had other functional training. They've gone to another school, the big one that a lot of people know about, that costs about $25,000 when all is said and done. And then they went on to SAFM, and every one of them has told me SAFM blows it away, because you don't just learn pedantically from, obviously great instructors, and you learn a lot at any school you're going to go to, but you learn how to swim in the pool as opposed to learning from the sidelines. I mean, you really do case study after case study after case study, and you learn. So Tracy does these things called puzzle piecing cases. I just want to tell you about these. This is such a game changer for
Please.
me. So she actually does an intake, like an IIN style intake, where you get to listen to her do an intake with a client. It's a recorded session. So you get to hear the questions she's asking. It's very different from I shouldn't say it's IIN style, but it is a health history session. And it's much more clinical questions that you're asking. Even though you're a health coach, it's okay. If you're a doctor, you can certainly add more clinical questions to it. And then she challenges you to map that person out, figure out what you think is going on, look at the lab work, look at their symptoms, figure out what you think is going on. Then she does a 2-hour webinar after on what she did for that client. What did she do during the sessions? What did she see in the lab work? What recommendations did she make? When she got that the next set of lab work back, what did she do then? Or what did she see? And how did she get that person better or help that person get better? And that was like light bulbs went off in my head, like, oh my gosh, now I know how to do this properly. And she does a bunch of those throughout the semester, where you really get to see it in action. And then we do these coaching calls where this one of the students presents an actual client they're working with, so our client or patient, and they'll say, okay, here's the lab work, and Tracy will say, okay, everybody, what do you think's going on here? What do you think's going on in the lab work? And everyone will type in their answer. So you get live classes, and of course they're recorded if you can't make it, but you get questions and answers you get to ask live and participate in a live case and see what you think is going on. So practice, practice, practice. You get 18 of those your first semester, 18 of those coaching calls where you get on live and practice and practice. So you feel such confidence in helping people. Like, I feel like I'm in a place that I feel like anybody who comes to me with anything, I could help them. It is a place of confidence. I feel like I have a skill set that very few people on the planet have. And I don't say that lightly. I have had people come to me that have been to a functional doctor. And the first time it happened was in my first semester. And I freaked because I'm like, oh my God, I'm a health coach. I couldn't failing chemistry in high school. I mean, what, this person's going to help me. I'm going to help them. And I was still able to help this person overcome her fibromyalgia, her chronic migraines, her exhaustion. She was in bed by noon every day. She was on Vicodin. She overcame everything just working with me. And it's not because I'm better than that doctor or smarter. I'm just better trained, honestly. So, and now I'm like, whenever someone's been to a functional doctor, I'm like, bring it on. I had a couple that came to me from Texas. I work with people all over the country, all over the world. They had been to a functional doctor for 6 months, and the husband said to me, they've had better success working with me in 6 weeks than they did with the functional doctor in 6 months. And again, not because I'm smarter, I'm just honestly better trained. And so this school is really the standard of care. It should be, I feel like every medical professional, every health coach on the planet should be in this program. If you want to get results for your clients and have referral after referral from satisfied clients, there is nothing better out there. And I hope you guys at least try the Conquering Constipation course, see what it's all about. The next semester starts in September, and the one after that starts in February. Again, work with Michelle, make sure you have at least 8 clients before attending. They have to be paying you, and there have to be 8 paying clients that in aggregate that you've had that experience working with them, and then you qualify for SAFM. So it's not just for beginner health coaches, but certainly beginner MDs can come to the school. It should not be an issue.
Got
Just
it.
get a little patient experience and you're all set to go.
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but it makes me excited to hear about all this, and your enthusiasm is so palpable. And I would like to add that, Jodi, obviously you're associated with the school, and, we're always going to hear great things from the people at the different schools, right? Because that's what they're going to say, right? But I will tell you, anyone I have known inside of our Health Coach Power community who has gone to SAFM, like Cheryl, who is here and still leaving comments about how this is her most favorite thing of the entire last year, and it is so amazing. I hear this a lot. I always hear it from real health coaches that I know who've gone through the program. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Again, for those of you listening, you can go to healthcoachpower.com/SAFM. We will put a link to the Conquering Constipation course in the show notes. But Jodi, thank you so much for your time. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michelle, if they go to the website, you have the link to it. Go through Michelle's link and hit the if you go on your computer on the top left, you can hit a speak to a graduate button. And I honestly do this. Tracy asked me if I would help reach out to prospective students. And I honestly, I love doing it. I don't mind doing it at all. I wish someone had told me about this program years ago, and I'm happy to, pay it forward and tell more people about the program, because it's a life changer. It's a game changer. It really is. So anyway, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to see you again. And I hope we get some people to try that course, the free course. And
yeah, let's all talk constipation next week, guys. I got to check it out myself, see if I can pick up anything new there. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. And keep your eyes open for more insights within the health coach industry, because I am bringing you lots of different experts, lots of different perspectives in the field during the course of this Get Started series. We have more episodes rolling out next week with some heavy hitters that you're not going to want to miss. So keep your eyes open for that. And I will see you all soon. Take care, Jodi.
You too, Michelle. You're awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye.